The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Since the Passover of the Jews was near, Jesus went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple area those who sold oxen, sheep, and doves, as well as the money changers seated there. He made a whip out of cords and drove them all out of the temple area with the sheep and oxen, and spilled the coins of the money changers, and overturned their tables. And to those who sold doves he said, "Take these out of here. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace." His disciples recalled the words of Scripture, "Zeal for your house will consume me." At this the Jews answered and said to him, "What sign can you show us for doing this?" Jesus answered and said to them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The Jews said, "This temple has been under construction for 46 years, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking about the temple of his body. Therefore, when he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this, and they came to believe the Scripture and the word Jesus had spoken. The Gospel of the Lord. Today we celebrate the feast of the dedication of St. John Lateran in Rome. I know some of you have been to Rome and have seen the Church of John Lateran. It's really remarkable for a few different reasons. Right outside of St. John Lateran is the spot where they tried to boil St. John, the evangelist, alive, and he survived. As some of you know, St. John, they tried to martyr him a number of times, and he survived every time. So just outside of St. John Lateran is the place where he was boiled alive. I believe that's why the church is called St. John of the Lateran. Also nearby the basilica, there's the Sagrada Scalia, the sacred stairs, which St. Helena brought back from the Holy Land, and it's believed to be the steps that Jesus ascended as he was on trial before Pontius Pilate. And so people will go on their knees walking up the steps there at the Sagrada Scalia. So it's a very neat place. But I think the best part about St. John Lateran, the reason why we make such a big deal of it in the church, is that St. John Lateran was really the first major church built in church history. As you know, for the first 300 years of Christianity, Christians didn't have religious freedom. They weren't always persecuted, but they didn't have the freedom to practice their religion publicly. They weren't allowed to build churches. And so St. John Lateran was the first major Christian church built in the Roman Empire. The story goes about not Saint Constantine, the Emperor Constantine. Actually, I believe Orthodox Christians call him a saint. But anyway, Constantine is known as being the first great Christian emperor. And I wanted to talk a little bit about his story, because I think it's significant and it's very interesting for us to keep this in mind. Many modern historians, when they talk about the Emperor Constantine, they like to bash on his Christianity, like modern historians do with a lot of ancient people. People that seem to be virtuous or seem to be good Christians, they often will destroy their character. Historians do this with a lot of different personas from history. But the story of Constantine is that he was emperor of the Roman Empire at the beginning of the 4th century. And during his time of emperor, there was a divide of the Roman Empire. And it was basically being split up into the Byzantine Empire into the east and the Roman Empire in the west. And there was a civil war that took place between Constantine and a different emperor. And at this time, there's no evidence whatsoever that Constantine was a Christian or even that he was very aware of what Christianity was. But the story goes that in the year 312, the Battle of Milvian Bridge between the two emperors, Constantine and many of his men saw a vision in the clouds, and they saw a cross in the sky. Likewise, that night when Constantine went to sleep as he was preparing for battle, he saw a different symbol. He saw the Chi Rho, which I was looking around to see if we have a Chi Rho anywhere in our church. I don't think we do. But this is what the Chi Rho is. You've probably seen this image in different Christian churches. What this symbolizes is this is an X for the first letter of Christ's name in Greek. And then this looks like a P or a sword. That's an R in Greek. So it's the first two letters of Christ's name in Greek. The story goes that Constantine, in the middle of the night, had a dream, and he saw this image. And he heard a voice saying, "In hoc signo vinces." In other words, in this sign, you will conquer. And so he had all of his men place the cross and also the key row on their shields. And they were victorious the next day in battle. And out of gratitude, Constantine enacted what was called the Edict of Milan, which forever granted religious freedom to Christians. It didn't establish Christianity as the religion of the Roman Empire, but it permitted it to be practiced publicly. And so shortly thereafter, the dedication or the building of St. John Lateran took place. So it's a great moment for us, in Christian history. All of those martyrs who shed their blood for the first few centuries of the church finally received vindication, and Christianity received freedom, and the church was established. And people like Constantine were able to start spreading the faith throughout the known world. So it's a great feast for us to celebrate today.